Excelente. All right. So why virtual global learning materials? Basically, understanding the value and the impact of global learning, we want to make sure that all students, no matter their situation, have access to these opportunities. And we understand that through using global learning materials, we are able to actually promote traditional study abroad. So while we're beginning, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that this is not a replacement for traditional study abroad. This is something that we've been in need of for a very long time to be able to provide in-depth international educational experiences to all students. So this is not a replacement, this is an enhancement. That is the goal here. We want to make sure that all students can learn and we can bring internationalized curriculum into all classes, no matter what the area of study might be, okay? Secondly, this is not a Band-Aid for COVID. This is something that we want to use, something that we've been in need of for a very, very long time, and something that's going to continue to develop and to evolve. By mixing the synchronous with asynchronous, we're able to provide a very in-depth, interactive experience that can be self-paced, but also live interaction on all levels. So this year, as I mentioned earlier, we've developed a subscription model that allows all institutions to access. It's unlimited users, unlimited access. And we've started with 4 main areas of study. This is continuing to build out into various sub areas of study as well. So it's cross-discipline. It can be used in essentially all areas of the institution. The first 4 main areas that we started with are humanities, business, science, and global perspective. Each of these areas are going to contain 12 hours of globally infused content provided by local professional guides, local professors from the destinations that we're visiting, field experts, etc. So it's provided by locals in these locations about content that is around their field of study that you're teaching in your classroom at home, okay? These materials in the shared model will go live on January 1st, 2021. We will have early releases coming out throughout the fall. So that way you're able to provide that to your faculty and they're going to be able to start sampling with it and figure out exactly how they want to embed this into their courses and into their curriculum. In addition to the early releases, these will be early releases that you can actually start to use with all of your students going through the fall semester. I'm just going to permit a couple others that have joined us lately. Welcome, Tammy. All right, back to it. So our goals. We want to provide all students access, all faculty access to in-depth global learning materials. We want to assist institutions in meeting their goals for intercultural competencies. We want to make sure that all institutions who share a goal of wanting to internationalize their curriculum will be able to do so in an easy but also very effective way. We want to increase participation in traditional study abroad as soon as it's physically able to, that we're able to travel once again. We want to use this as a tool to promote the traditional study abroad, provide students that aren't able to go for whatever reason, access to your traditional study abroad courses hosted in a virtual format. We want to introduce a new format of education. This is very exciting because it's a new way of learning. It's a tool that faculty can use in their classroom that's interactive. It's a tool that they can use online, and it can be self-paced, but they're able to bring everybody together no matter the situation, be it in the physical classroom or online studies, okay? And most importantly, develop enhanced globally infused learning materials with the faculty. The most important thing for us is to make sure that we receive as much feedback from faculty, division heads, administrators, etc., to develop content that they are in need of, especially in areas of study which normally do not have properly globally infused content available to it. So a lot of your science areas, for example, physics, chemistry, it's these areas, it's not common that you have traditional study abroad. They need global content brought into it, but also many other areas of studies. We want faculty input. It's absolutely essential to us because it's going to help us make the absolute best product. We want a product that's going to be used in the classroom, that students are going to love, that faculty are going to love, so we can continue to build on this. So what exactly are 360 global learning materials? Basically, what we use is 360 technology to provide a beautiful panorama setting. And within that interactive panorama setting where you're able to observe everything from up to down and all around, zoom in, zoom out, we embed that with lots of educational plugins and content. So you'll have pre-recorded videos from local experts in the field. You can have faculty can go in and add in their own PowerPoint slideshow presentations. They can go in and add in customized quizzes that will be able to allow you to make sure that the students are retaining the information and the content that's provided to them. You can add in, true or false, multiple choice, fill in the blank. You can prompt students to write in-depth essays, and you can really build that out. You're able to also bring in sublinks. And when we're joining us, let me add them in. You're able to bring in sublinks as well. And anything that's available in open educational resources or any other links that you'd like to infuse into your 360 learning space, you're able to do so. So we wanted to make sure that this could be customized as well for faculty so they can really get exactly to what they want to teach, and they can use this to really enhance the course that they're teaching day in and day out, to really have an extra tool to help keep students engaged. Okay. So what are the benefits for institutions? Well, it's going to provide faculty and institutions an efficient way to internationalize their curriculum. Efficient, effective, easy. It's going to enhance the learning experience. It's going to keep students engaged. It's going to build globally competent students as well as faculty. Faculty that might not have in-depth international travel experience are now able to pull in resources into their class that they might have always wanted to. Most importantly, makes international education accessible to everyone. With as simple as a click of a button, we can make this content available to an entire campus. Some campuses, for example, Miami-Dade College, 160,000 students. With one click, 160,000 students can have access to interactive, in-depth content. It promotes and inspires traditional study abroad for those students who are, I'm not sure if study abroad's for me. I'm not sure if I want to explore the world. They're unaware of the opportunities. They're unaware of what's out there. This is a perfect tool for them to bring awareness and to help them say, I want to go have the physical experience because I was able to have this virtual 360 interactive experience and I loved it. I want to go meet those guides in person. I want to in person. I want to see these places in person. Most importantly, it's cost effective, it's in-depth, it's innovative, and it's very, very appropriate for 2021 and what students are used to using on the daily basis in terms of technology. This is something that we have to keep in mind to keep the students engaged. So the virtual subscription model in more detail. As I mentioned earlier, as everybody knows, very challenging year. We want to produce content all over the globe. That's what we're going to be doing over the next 3 years. We're going to be producing in-depth content in all corners of the globe, in all areas of study. The first countries that we started with in year one, we're featuring 9 countries. There's going to be some bonuses as well. We're featuring Costa Rica, the United Kingdom, France, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Czech Republic, Austria, and India. We will be building content globally in Africa, in Asia, in different parts of South America, the Caribbean, Central America, North America even, as well as Australia, Oceania, New Zealand, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to be developing content globally that's virtual and interactive, but we had to start with something that was going to allow us to provide a perfect experience by January 1st, so this could be plugged in as soon as possible, okay? So we started with 9 countries. They're all going to contain bits focused on business, humanities, science, and global perspectives. People that we're speaking with along the way, top researchers. By the way, right now I'm in Freiburg, Germany with the team. We're doing a in-depth unit on sustainable and renewable energy. It's focused on Germany and Switzerland. For example, we had a meeting the other day with one of the top researchers at the CERN. So we're meeting with top researchers, educators, politicians, policymakers, environmental activists, human rights activists, you name it, to bring in-depth university students, discussions with them, students who've just completed their PhD and are doing postdoctorate studies and research in the lagoons of Venice, for example, right? So all of this is going to be infused with this content. As I mentioned earlier, if you came in later, we are doing this because we want to receive faculty input. So I'd be happy, my team, we're happy to sit down with you, to meet with your department heads, to meet with your faculty, and completely understand what you're in need of, and we will incorporate that into the content production calendar. Absolutely. That's going to help us make a very in-depth experience. Now, before I move into the actual demo that I'm about to show you, which I'm going to share everybody the link in the chat, and I would like everybody who would like to participate, I would like you to dive into this. Before I share that with you, I would like to invite Stephanie Kelly to come in to tell us about CCID, Community Colleges for International Development, and her view on the potential for virtual education, global learning materials, and really get some insight from Stephanie. Stephanie, are you with us?
I am. Thank you, Christian. And I do apologize for the hiccup that we had. For some reason, it was asking me for a password. I've never had that issue, but I apologize for coming in late if you had introduced me earlier. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I wanted to come here and talk to you a little bit about kind of the need to rethink how we're going to do international education in general, but also components of what we call study abroad and how that might change in the post-COVID world. Kristen, do you have my slide, or I have it if I can screen share?
Absolutely. Let me allow you to be the presenter real quick. We should all be Zoom pros by now. I apologize. Sometimes I'm a little delayed. I'm passing you the ball. Here we go, Steph. You've got the mic. I've just changed you the host. So go ahead and let me know that you received that. You are the host, so you should be able to share.
All right,
yours. Let me stop sharing mine.
Take over here.
And there you go.
Right. Does everyone see my screen now?
We've got you. Yep.
All right. Let me put it on the. Let me get this out of the way so I can put this on the. Sorry about that. So when we were thinking about our upcoming conference in February and thinking about how the conference really should be about how we're going to redesign our programs moving forward. And I have to say that Christian and Leo and the team, we talked very early on in March, I think, and I was super impressed about how quickly they were already rethinking things. They got the impact of COVID really early, and they started pivoting to develop programming that would not just fill the gap, but then it morphed into this idea that it really could change the way things are done going forward. So that's the very essence of what we all need to do at this point, and I'm sure everyone is here on this webinar because of that. And as we rethink how we're going to do things, not just rethinking the impact of virtual exchange and how we're going to do this in a virtual setting until travel can continue, but also rethinking some of the inequities and inequalities that have been longstanding in the field. So I'm not going to go into all the the statistics that I'm sure you're well aware of in terms of how many students actually get to travel abroad, but also think about how many students actually get to have an intercultural or global education in every classroom. And of course, that number, we know that like community colleges, about less than 1% of our students get to experience a travel abroad opportunity. That number is a little higher depending on the discipline that you're looking at for kind of a global perspective or an internationalized course in a particular discipline, but it's really small in the range of 10 to 15 to 20%, depending on the discipline and the institution. So we know that, and it's really hard to scale up this idea that everyone can travel abroad. But we also realize that this opening that COVID has given us to connect virtually has given us also an opportunity to expand the number of students who get that global experience in the classroom, right? So we need to rethink how we're going to redesign our programming to be able to address some of these inequities in access in marginalized communities, and what that means also, not just for students who get to experience, what that means also for our national conversations, and how what we're doing here is really going to contribute to people understanding each other more, whether they're from somewhere else around the world, or whether they're from right here in our own country, and they might be from somewhere else. So I think this is a really great opportunity to think about how this type of programming can address these types of inequalities. So what does that mean, the implications for kind of our traditional study abroad programs? As Christian said, and I think everyone can probably agree, virtual study abroad is not study abroad, and actually that word is even problematic. I think when we look at programs like what we're going to see, we need to think of it in terms of internationalization. How do we give access to students to global learning, to internationalize our courses? Nothing will replace that experience of study abroad, nor should it, because we know that will return someday. But if we think about these opportunities, and also because we don't really want to compare it to that experience that students will still be very, very happy to engage with and excited to engage with when our programs run. But if we think about this type of embedding kind of these global experiences virtually into classrooms, we think about it as expanding internationalization. And CCID, Community Colleges for International Development, our whole mission is that our goal is that every student in every classroom gets an internationalized experience in their coursework. And how do we do that? Because we can't send them all abroad. We can't make sure that they have exchanges with people from other countries. But we can make sure our curriculum and our classes are internationalized. And when we look at how we're going to redesign some of those courses, a lot of them have been thrown online. In fact, probably upwards of 90% of them at many schools are online this semester and potentially for the spring. So how do we kind of reinvigorate the kind of old standard online class with interactivity, with interconnections with people from abroad? And I think the demonstration is probably going to show you how that it's not just about seeing the places that you see in pictures. So it's not just about making textbook pictures three-dimensional. It's really about making those pictures interactive in a way that students will then understand the people of the country, not just the things they're looking at. And that interconnections, and I think, Christian, you may, I know that we've talked about these opportunities to meet people in other countries, talk with them and get their perspectives. That is really the value of what I think these types of programs are going to bring to your classroom, not necessarily the cool, and there are a lot of cool things that you can do and ways that you can see it in a three-dimensional way, but it's really those interactions and those perspectives that make it an internationalized course. And so for that, I thank you guys for really, again, pivoting very quickly to understand what the post-COVID world might look like in terms of how we're going to do things, and providing kind of a program that can be a jumping board for study abroad if students are interested in traveling, or if you have a program running to a particular country that your subscription is to, or to get them interested and curious about participating in an actual travel abroad program. So Kristen, I just want to thank you guys for really creating this, and I've seen it go from kind of that idea that you had all the way to a pretty remarkable program. And so I'm excited to see the outcomes in terms of embedding those in classes in the coming year. And again, and as I know you will, because you guys are quite innovative, how it morphs and how it changes by next summer to produce something that we really will be able to use moving forward and institutionalize that exposure and that global learning for students.
Absolutely, Stephanie. Thank you so much. And you've been a believer since the beginning, which means a lot. And we're excited to be with CCID on this. And yeah, absolutely. Do you have anything else you want to share, Stephanie, before we dive into the demo?
I will turn it back over to you because I think the
Passing the
demo
ball
is
back.
the demo is what everyone is here to see.
All right. We have two, my colleagues also here. So in case he gets assigned the host, you just click on my picture. You probably already know, but I had to remind myself earlier. Just click on those three dots and then you can click make host. Everyone, I'm going to share with you inside of the group chat the link to this interactive demo. Now you can follow my screen, or you can actually dive in and participate yourself. So I'm going to pretend to be an educator throughout this and show you ways that you can use this in the classroom. So first things first, can you see my screen? Stephanie, can you see my screen? Because I see your camera's on. All right, perfect. So everybody, welcome to your 360 learning space. If you haven't entered in yet, click on the link that I put in the chat. It will pop up and it will open, and then I will give you clear instructions as we go through. I'm just going to put this in full screen real quick. View. Okay. Should we just leave it like this for now so I can see everybody's chats? All right, perfect. So once you enter in this screen, if you're using a Macintosh laptop, for example, you can just click on the mouse pad and you can start to swipe with your other finger. So hold it down with your index finger, the mouse pad, and then swipe with the other one. And you can look down, you can look up, you can zoom in. Now, how do you zoom in? You use your two fingers and pull back towards you. If you're using a traditional mouse, you'll just use that little scrolly wheel, okay? But you can zoom in, you can zoom out, okay? Now, each of these scenes, as soon as you enter into a new scene, you want to get an idea of, okay, where am I? I'm in Florence, I'm in Piazzale di Michelangelo, okay? Now, you have these locators here. This one here, the classic camera icon, this is your 360 videos. So we shoot in 360 video as well. This is amazing if you have access to virtual reality goggles. You don't need it to use it. You can still interact and explore the video. But if you do have something along the lines of Oculus and things like this, you can have a completely immersive experience through these 360 videos. Then you'll see these other icons that look similar to like a YouTube icon. These are your educational content plugins. So while we're here, let me introduce you to your host, Dr. He teaches philosophy and art and history at La Sapienza University in Rome. So I'll show you kind of how this works. You click on this. Now this has captioning, by the way, okay? So we spend a lot of time on captioning to make sure that it's accessible to all students, those that might be hearing impaired, but also students that want to have proper spelling of city names, historical people, etc. It's very helpful to have the captioning on. So let me show you what this looks like.
Welcome to Florence, in the heart of Tuscany, the capital of the Renaissance. On my back, you see the Arno River. And that bell tower is the heart of the city, the Palazzo Vecchio, Piazza della Signoria, the city hall. Behind it on the right, the huge dome, that's the first dome in the history of modern architecture. That's the dome of Santa Maria del Fiore, the Cathedral of Florence, Saint Mary of the Flower. Florence in Italian means the city of the flower.
All right, so that closes out. And at this point, you're saying, okay, I'm ready to go to the next scene. Now, you can click on this green locator here. Don't do it yet. If you're inside of the actual platform with me now, don't do that yet. But you can click on that. Or at the bottom, you can view all of your scenes, okay? So at the bottom here, you're able to see all of your scenes. I just clicked on the next one. You don't have to go in order of the locators. As an educator, you can come in and say, I want to cover the Medici Chapels today, and I want to cover the Medici Palace. So that means that since I'm going to cover the Medici Chapels, I'm going to assign my students to do scene 3. So you can come in instantly through this way if you like. You do not have to go in order of the pre-made tour, which goes in geographical order, you don't have to go in that. You can go in and pick bits that you would like to include, okay? Another way that you can navigate this, on your right, you have a geolocated map. There's no pretending here. This is all done with GPS, so we can't tell you that we're somewhere that we're not, okay? Here you see 19. That represents 19 scenes within Florence. So to have a deeper look, you're able to click on the 19, and then you're able to see, okay, we have nine experiences here to the north, 7 in the middle, 2 to the south, and then 1 over here at Piazza Michelangelo, where we are right now, okay? Now you can go even deeper through here, and you can click on the 7, and you can be brought in. Now, since this is done in satellite view, I can continue to zoom in here all the way to Street View, and I can go into Street View and navigate. So you come out a little bit, scroll out a little bit, and then you can exactly see where you are and where you want to go. So I would like to go, for example, to Piazza della Signoria. So this is incredible for students to really connect locations, understand where things are in different cities, and to be able to build a connection of what does Florence, for example, look like. But if I want to get an idea of just geography in general, some students might say, I have no idea where Florence is in Italy. I've never been there. What is it like? So you can zoom out like this, okay? Continue to zoom out, continue to zoom out, keep going, and then here we go. We've got Italy, and then I can continue to go out, and see exactly where we are in the world and beyond, okay? But instantly I want to come back to where I was before, so I go into the 19, and then I can come back inside of the 7, okay? So if you're with me right now, I want you to look where my cursor is on this Piazza della Signoria, okay? Go ahead and click on this for me, this little pink locator, and it's going to bring you into the scene, all right? Now, once you're inside the scene, by the way, if you're tired of looking at the map, you can just drag this to the right, and you can get that out of the way, and you can have a full screen, okay? Or you say, I really like to see the map with it. Let me bring that back just right here, okay? So as you would on any traditional educational program, as soon as you enter into a new location, you want to have a historical and cultural overview of that. So let's go ahead and find out a little bit here about Piazza della Signoria. Give it a second to load. I'm sharing my screen, so it might take just a second.
We are in Piazza della Signoria, the square of the Lordship. Behind me is Palazzo Vecchio, the old palace, the city hall of Florence. Here is the center of the power of Florence. The Medici Palace before is where the Medici used to live when they were a private, rich, powerful, but private family. When they become the lords of Florence, they moved here.
All right, so just to give you a little overview. Now, something I can do, okay, this is great. How can I use this in my class to keep the students engaged? So you say, students, I want you to meet me in this scene. Now, while you're in this scene, I want you to observe how many different statues can you count in the scene? What type of architecture is this? What are these crests that we see? Send your students on research. Have them start to research Palazzo della Signoria, and have them, who constructed this beautiful fountain, right? How many fountains do you see within the square, etc.? So you can make this very interactive in the way where the students have assignments. Now you might say, okay, but if I'm watching videos, how do I make sure that the students are following the same track? Because we've all been in international study abroad. We know that some students, they get lost off the tour. You know, you have to constantly look out for a couple who get left behind. So what you do is you just simply say, students, I want you to spend 3 minutes. We're going to meet right back here after that, and then we're going to continue together. This is if you're in an online setting, but you still want to keep it synchronous in that way, okay? Now, what I want you to do is I want you to click on the green locator here so you can see how you can access the green locator to go to the next scene, all right? So click on that green locator. Now, as I come into the scene, remember earlier I mentioned that you have a 360 video. I'm going to share that with you in a second because I want you to see what you can do in terms of being able to really observe a location, be it for architecture, art appreciation, business visits. If you're studying sustainable renewable energy and you're visiting hydro plants or solar engineering facilities, solar power engineering facilities, etc. What you can really do to really observe what that environment's like. Or if you're just studying global perspectives and you want to see, wow, this is what a location really looks like. This is the sound in the location, and this is what how life moves in that location. So what you can do when you come in here is you can really observe what's going on in Florence. Now, many of you are probably saying, I've never seen Florence, especially in the summer, this empty. We were very fortunate when we recorded this because it was very empty. I want to show you something else. You might see that sometimes the photos are very upfront in people's faces. This because we do not want to show something that's overproduced and over commercialized. We want to show what real life is in these locations. We don't want to show something that's completely edited and just looks like from a tourism office brochure. We don't want to do that. We want to show what real life is, how locals live, and what it really looks like in these locations. Now, I mentioned 360 video here. So I would like everybody that's participating, because I can't see how many people are participating right now. I can only see how many people are in the Zoom. I can't see how many are actually participating in my webinar now. We will have that very soon, and you'll be able to see exactly how many of your students are in there and engaging. What I would like to ask you to do is to click on this video camera here with me, okay? Now, this might open up and look like a traditional video, but this is a 360 video. You have control of this video, okay? It's shot in 5.7K, so it takes a second to buffer. It will clean up. Give it 2 seconds or so, and it will clean up. Now, I'm gonna turn down my volume, but you're starting with the back view. So I want you to hold down your cursor, your mouse, and come in here. Now, when you come in here, look up, drag down, okay? Look down, look around, look at the detail that you can see. I'm controlling this entirely, okay? I can zoom in, I can zoom out. I can really get a sense, wow, look at the frescoes, etc. I can really get a sense of the architecture in this location and this beautiful palace, right? And I can watch life go on around me. You see people wearing COVID masks and everything like that. You have current events, right? So we're able to see how we're all connected in that sense globally, that everybody has had this encounter. And you're able to get really an idea of what it's like in that location, okay? Now, let's go ahead and skip over to the next scene. If you see, check my time here. I don't want to go on too long. All right, we are here. Another little fun plugin that you could do. We have a lunch break in 360. So you get a little introduction to traditional Tuscan cuisine. So you're able to do so many different things. Here we are at a lunch in Florence, just around the corner of the Uffizi, the best sandwich place in the city. And you're able to get an interactive idea of, we're in Tuscany, we have to have a little bit of red wine, right? So you're able to get an idea of
so I asked for
what is the cuisine.
Tagliere de Neri is the house plate with a bit of everything. Typical Tuscan appetizer.
So imagine you can do this with host families. You can do this at traditional dinners. The options are endless, right? But what we need most importantly is feedback from faculty. We want to know what you need, and we're going to produce that content. Now, last little section I'm going to show you here is I would like you to join me on the last locator. If you said, guys, I got lost, I don't know where you are right now, let me show you how to find out where you are. Scroll down at the bottom, okay? At the very, very, very bottom here. And go ahead and click on scene 18, okay? Lungano, right? We're on the Arno River now. Click on scene number 18, okay? When you arrive in scene 18, I want you to observe the Arno River and the back side of the Uffizi Museum, okay? Now, you'll see the corridors that go from the Uffizi Museum and that continue all the way. You see this passageway here? Continues all the way. And then it continues across Ponte Vecchio. And then it goes all the way over to one of the other Medici palaces. Let's find out why.
Behind me is Ponte Vecchio, the old bridge, the oldest bridge in Florence. It was built back in the 10th century, rebuilt in the 1300s, in the Middle Age, the richest moment in the history of Florence. And typically, medieval bridges had buildings on top of it. These buildings were quite poor because of the floods. They were not really safe, quite dirty. Later, they opened a lot of butcher shops over there. Why? Because of all the blood could drain into the river. Here is the Uffizi that we've seen before. From the Uffizi, the Medici wanted to find a way to cross the bridge without walking in the middle of the crowd. So they asked Vasari to build a corridor that was helping them to walk around the city without mixing with people.
All right, so that's enough there. Now, as Francesco has just explained, let me turn my camera back on, sorry. Francesco has just explained why this bridge was built and why this passageway is here. The Medici didn't want to engage with the common folk. Now you're able to join him on this 360 walk as you go through the porticos of Florence, and you're able to see exactly what these porticos look like as you walk along the Arno River. All right, so let's take a look at what that looks like. So we're here, and now we're into 360, and we're entering in. Now, remember, guys, you have control over the scene. So navigate it, explore it. Look at the people that you're walking by. Sometimes you might see people laughing at us carrying a 360 camera, but hey, that's a part of the local experience. So have fun with it. But you can really get a sense of what day-to-day life is here, and I'm able to navigate all of this. I'm able to see exactly what's going on. So Francesco's going to bring you to Ponte Vecchio, and now I exit out of that, and then I say, okay, I want to go to Ponte Vecchio where Francesco's going. I'm going to click on this green locator, and then now I have arrived in Ponte Vecchio, where of course, one, I need to observe Ponte Vecchio, and two, I need to look for my educational plugin hotspots, okay, which is right here. So I'm trying to give you an idea of the endless possibilities of what you can do with this and how you can infuse this in the class with whatever topic that is. I want to show you very briefly the index. I want to show you very briefly the index that you can use as a resource for you. We understood that the platform wasn't enough for the faculty and that they needed to be able to use the index. So you come in here to your index, okay? Now, inside of this index, let me show you. You have, at the very top, you have your principal area of study. Now, this is going to be beautifully designed, all on the platform, all online, okay? This is going to be ready. But right now, to give you a look at what it looks like behind the scenes in the spreadsheet. You have your principal area of study. Here we see global perspectives, business, environmental studies, your sub area of studies, because a lot of this content can be multi-focus and can work into many different areas. You have your location, your topic, your description, the length of exact videos if you want to use those, or if you want to be able to go directly into a virtual interactive tour and you don't just want to pull in video content, you can do your search, type in Florence, for example, and then as you arrive in Florence, you have your link to the virtual tour experience. You click on that, and now students can come directly into this interactive experience. So this is all going to be split by area of study, by destination, by length, so faculty can put on those filters and decide exactly what they need. I'll show you how to do that real quickly with the filters. I want you to imagine this like if you go into Netflix, for example, and you want to go into genres. That's exactly how this is going to work. So you just come into your principal areas of study, you click on that, you put on your filter, and you say, I teach business. I only want to see things that relate to business. I have no need for humanities. So I put my filter on business, I click on it, and then now I only have business related topics. And then you say, well, you know what? I want to do something on supply chain. So I just go ahead, I type in supply chain, And voila, here we go. I'm going to go visit a Parmigiano Reggiano production center, and I'm going to be able to show the entire production process from cow to exportation for my students, to give them a real life example of what supply chain looks like in an interactive way. Okay. I want to leave plenty of time for questions. I just want to share with you one last thing. I want to share with you how University of South Florida used this. So they were our University of South Florida. Thank you guys. I know you're on the chat, you're on the video now, but these guys are all stars. They were the first ones to stand up and say, hey, we want to be guinea pigs. We want to do this. We love this. This was a traditional tour that we were going to run for them originally in Peru. Peru had a lot of difficulty and still does have a lot of difficulty with COVID. We had to modify it to go to Italy for global climate change and human impact on the environment. That was the study. But basically, the way that they scheduled their program was they had it running in conjunction with a course, traditional course, and they had the units scheduled between 12 Eastern and 2 Eastern, and they used this itinerary as a guide to go through, okay? Now let me explain how they did this. They have a description of who's speaking, where they're visiting, all of the important information. They have the link to the hyperlink that I just showed you, so I can click this, and now it takes me directly to Florence in the platform. Okay, but that's not what I want to. That's not what I want to share with you right now. What I want to share with you is the way that you can use the asynchronous and then combine it with the live interaction. So basically, their classes went Tuesday, Thursday, right, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They would have their classes, and then what we would do is we would add in at the end of the week the synchronous component where they could engage with the local guide, the local expert that they had been with the entire week virtually. Now they're able to come in and meet the person in open discussion, Q&A, live seminar style, right? So that's how this was all designed. And the reason I bring that up is that because you're able to essentially, there are no limitations to what you can do by combining the two. You can have self-paced content that is used for homework, that is used for online, that if you just want to plug that in, you can have self-paced content, but then you can also have the live interaction and synchronous that is infused with that to make a really interactive and powerful experience. I didn't mean to go to the cost slide here, but I'm sure people are wondering how much does this cost? So we'll just go ahead and talk about that. Full access licensing for 1 calendar year at 365 days is $4,995. That's for all areas of study. We're producing 48 hours of content. It's gonna be much closer to actually around 60 hours of content. There's a lot of bonuses coming in as well. And basically you have unlimited access, unlimited users. So that means if you have a student body of 60,000 students, 100,000 students, or if you're the Maricopa and you have 220,000 students, then you have access to all of them. And they can go through the content as many times as they want. Unlimited access, unlimited users. If you just want to sample and you say, I want to see how we incorporate this, I want to see how my faculty like it, I need faculty buy-in, then you could start with one, go for the $19.95, right? That's for one area of study. So you either pick business, you pick global perspectives, you pick science, or you pick humanities, and you can start with that, right? Or you can pick one city, for example, like Florence, which is multidiscipline, and you can do that for $9.95, okay? The great thing is that for everybody that's starting in year one, our founding members, you lock in that price. That price will never change for all the future years. It never changes. It's grandfathered in. You keep that forever. And you're able to be first in line to provide us content requests. What are you looking for? As I mentioned earlier, I'm so excited to meet with all of the faculty, division heads, department, whoever wants to use it. I want to meet with all of them and explore ideas with them, and most importantly, listen to what they would like to see, okay? With that being said, I would like to cover just how you can finance this, because I know it's a crazy time for budgets. So these right here, these top 10, these are ways that the 50 institutions who are currently subscribed to this, 50 institutions from large universities to small liberal arts colleges to many, many community colleges from all corners of the states. And this is growing every day. This is ways that they have used, resources that they have used to secure funding for this. Campus library, educational technology, online learning, continuing education funding. Academic affairs have paid for this. Student life, student services have. The Alumni Association has. Continuing ed, non-traditional continuing ed students, if you have continuing ed programs at your school, they are making these available to them, and then it generates revenue to pay for the subscription as a hybrid type of course, that experience that they offer to them. The foundation, of course, internal institutional grants. If you have students who have qualified for Gilman, for example, this year, but they're not able to actually use it, they can use that towards these virtual experiences as well. Honors program, we've had many honors program departments that said we want to provide this not only for our students, but for the entire institution. And obviously faculty and professional development funds that were not utilized in 2020, okay? These are many ways. We're discovering new ways every day. I would be happy to brainstorm with you on what we can do to make this work at your institution. That's enough from my side. I would love to hear questions. So please, guys, feel free to, are we able to unmute people? If you can, just type in the chat if you have a question, and then I'll respond to that directly. That'll probably be the easiest thing to do. Feel free, all questions, don't be shy.
Christian, since it always takes just a minute to get people to start asking questions, I'll throw out the first one because I was watching from a faculty perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, when you're in the 360 environment with your class, say you have an online class and you're in the, and you have them, is there the functionality to chat with them when you're in that, you know, room with them, or are they all seeing it kind of independently and can't kind of know and hear what everybody else is doing?
No, absolutely. You can chat with everybody. So what you can do is you have two ways to do this. If this is going to be plugged into your LMS, then we can set it up through there, and you can use chat features through your LMS, or you can set up a WhatsApp group chat, for example, and have everybody engaged in the WhatsApp group chat. So that's a way to do it. But if everybody's in a Zoom call like this, you just use your Zoom chat platform or whatever online meeting is approved at your institution, and you just continue to engage through that. And then most importantly, what you want to do is tell everybody to mute their mic when they have the videos on and things like this, and then say, students, meet me back here in 3 minutes, and then we're going to continue on to the next part.
Okay, great.
Thank you. Great question. All right, we have some more coming on. Is the model essentially that professors incorporate a city as needed in their curriculum, or was it used for a specific time? I'm not sure if that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, Mary, could you just elaborate for me just a little bit more? Basically, yeah, go ahead. Can we unmute Matt? Can we unmute Mary?
Maybe it just might be easier if I unmute myself. Yeah, hi. I guess I was wondering if the people that use this for the demo, this was awesome, by the way. I'm
Yes.
blown away by it.
Yes.
And I really want to pitch it to the college, but I'm wondering, did the people who use it, like, let's say for like a 5-day type of experience, or did they use it throughout, like, do they do it over the course of the summer semester, or does that make sense now?
Yeah, of course, all options. So basically you can go through the index and pick anything that you would like to incorporate into your course, and you can bring those experiences in, or you can set it up. A lot of institutions are using it for International Education Week, for example, and they're having students engaged during that time, or they're using it across the whole semester, but they're incorporating it with a program we call Live International Virtual Exchange, where you team up with universities around the globe, and you bring that in, or if they have guest speakers that are coming in and presenting on different topics, you can space it out. You can make it over 1 week, 2 week period. It's really, the options are endless. University of South Florida's program was a 3-week long program that they were running over a summer course. And so that's the way that they operated.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Mary.
I have a question. My
Yeah.
name's Gary here. I turned on my video. And actually, I have a million questions, but I'm going to try to be succinct to respect everybody. One, if there are new cities that are not offered, is that something that's just customizable with you guys?
If they're new cities that aren't offered, basically what we want to do is to understand what you're looking for, what locations you're looking for, and we can have a custom request where we can make something individual for you. But if it's part of the subscription model, the most important thing is to start with area of study. What focus do you want first, right? Start with area of study, and then from area of study, we can branch out to the optimal locations for that. Which locations around the world are exceptional in that area of study, right? Or and basically to bring in as many educators that are also looking for that to develop that content experience. We want to provide every single location that every request, but with the shared model, the subscription model, we need to focus on area of study first, and then move into location second. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, the way I am, and apologies for interrupting, the way I'm sort of trying to see how it might be used for us is, you know, we're really trying, what we love is the cultural exchange. And so like our student, and we're doing virtual exchanges, so our students connecting with a classroom, you know, abroad. And I see this as a really great experience to sort of replace the travel aspect of study abroad, so that we can see everything that's out there, get a little of those kind of excursions and those things, while the cultural exchange aspect is our students, you know, telling each other about their homes and the food and everything else, but also as well incorporating some specific lectures or themes. I'm with a College of Agriculture, so, you know, things that will be more thematic in that area. That while I see you guys have a dairy farm, which is fantastic, but, you know, if there might be other things involved where, or we're partnered with a university in a city that's not represented, you know, is there kind of development opportunities, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So sorry I didn't clarify that earlier. Yes, whatever you're looking to do in terms of customization, everything's possible. Every location around the world's possible. Every area of study is possible. I was referring just to how we're producing content in the shared subscription model. But if you're looking for experiences directly focused to agriculture in, you know, I don't know, in Nigeria, or agriculture in Costa Rica, or wherever it may be, all those experiences can be provided. We work with Ministry of Education, Ministry of Tourism in locations all around the globe, to be able to work directly with local universities, directly with local experts, and to be able to bring special focused site visits to these places, and to bring in the people that oversee the agriculture, the industry, et cetera, and have them engage with your students and with you. Synchronous is amazing. Asynchronous is amazing. When you combine the two, you have a really incredible, in my opinion, ultimate experience in terms of educational experience.
Absolutely. I think I love these, especially like that kind of historical cultural thing where asynchronously, I could say, students, go do your Italian excursion, you know, get out there, because you have all these videos embedded to provide the history and the culture and lectures. I say lectures very loosely, but, you know, to provide that content, where then in the synchronous ones, we might be able to get more specific with the academic thematic stuff of agriculture, for example.
That's essential. That's essential. And you can ask those more technical questions that you're looking for insight on. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's 100% possible. And let's stay connected. My email's the first one in the chat. So
I joined late, so if you can like throw it back in there, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, I'll send my email in the group chat real quick, and then while I'm doing that, please, do we have additional questions, guys? I'm here for as long as you like, so I'll be here. I'll be the last one to leave the room, so please feel free to continue asking questions, and I will send a recording to everybody as well. There's got to be a couple more out there. Come on, guys.
Hey, Christian, I have another one. I wish I was faculty sometimes again. So I'm thinking about this idea of asynchronous versus synchronous exchange with people, right? And I know that all of these, and I think you can attest to that, all of these sites have kind of that interaction that with somebody on the ground to give that cultural perspective or that different perspective. Is there any way to combine, if you have a subscription model, to add maybe a live exchange to kind of maybe an enhancement of the subscription model, or is that at all possible?
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely combine the two. I just sent my email in the chat, everyone. You can definitely combine the two. You can take all these resources and opportunities and make it into exactly what you're looking for. So the short answer is yes, absolutely. New Jersey City University, for example, they're starting with the Rome. They're starting with the Rome single city asynchronous experience, but then they're combining that with 3 live stream, open discussion, virtual seminars, if you will, about specific topics that the faculty is looking for. So that's just an example of how you can combine the two. Did I answer your question, Stephanie?
Yeah, perfectly. Because again, and I knew that you provided kind of different ways to do that, but to me, like as Carrie I think was saying, the added component of that exchange with people is something that's really valuable.
It's essential. It's essential, and I completely agree that it should be part of the experience. We have another one. Camera's on, but muted. Take your time. She might be on another call. I'm not sure. I think you're.
No, this is ridiculous. I just forgot my question.
So, there you go. No problem.
For you, I just need a second. I'm trying to remember.
No. I've been there many times.
COVID mind. so I tried to unmute myself. I'll mute myself again. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. When it comes back to you, you'll come back on. Okay. Take your time. No rush. It's happened to me. It's happened to me on stage before. I used to do theater. It was very embarrassing. But yes. So I'm. Any other questions, guys? I am here. We are. We're hanging around with you. If I don't get questions, I'm gonna have to start picking people out of the room and saying if they have questions. But I just want to thank you guys again for joining us today. And we're here for you. Our team's here for you. And we're really, really excited to share with you the continual developments and where we're going with this. So please don't hesitate to to reach out to us. And, no matter what your institutional budget is, we'll find a way to work with you because we believe in this. And it's what we're passionate about.
I remembered it finally.
Hey, I knew it would come, Mary.
It's a really stupid question after all that drama. But just, you may have said this and I apologize if I missed it. How we can access this to show like our administrators afterwards, to show them this demo if possible, and even to get a hold of like the Excel spreadsheet that you had up before showing all the different locations and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So shoot me an email. And then what I'll do is I'll send you a very thorough PDF as well as a very nice, in addition to email, I'll also send you another email that gives a very thorough overview of everything that you can share with, with your faculty or whoever that you need to communicate with to
to bring this up to. So yeah, I'll send you both of those. Just send me an email. It's Christian@studyabroadassociation.com, and yeah, I'll get you everything you need.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you, Mary.
You too. This was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have questions in the meantime? All right, guys. Well, thank you again. Have a lovely Wednesday. And we look forward to meeting with you next time, and look out for exciting stuff on the way. And have a lovely day. Hang in there. Bright days are ahead. And yeah, we really appreciate your time. Thank you again. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone.
Thank you, Kristen.
Bye, Stephanie. Take care. Speak to you soon.